First of all, I want to know, why did you name your training company FireTeam?
It's a good question. Everybody asks me that because they think it's has something to do with firefighters, but
That's what I would have
uh,
thought.
yeah, I was in the army years ago, many years ago,
Okay.
and in the infantry, some people call it a battle buddy, but in what we called it is a fire team partner. And
Oh, okay.
so the fire team partner is someone that's like you're always with. That's the person that you can call at 3 o'clock in the morning when you have trouble, right? But on the battlefield, your fire team partner is the person that watches your six, so to speak.
Okay.
Um, so when I started thinking about a name for the business, Piper is my fire team partner, right? She's with me all the
Yeah.
time. She goes everywhere with me. We're in the woods. She's, watching my six, so to speak. So I just thought this is perfect. We'll call it FireTeam K9. And
I love that.
I like the idea of just the K with the nine as well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it sort of simplifies it and helps everybody understand that it's related to
Yeah.
dog training. Yeah.
Yeah. So FireTeam, it sounds like so official. Would the average person know that FireTeam thing from the military, or would it only be military people that would know?
Yeah, not many people. So people have said that to me. Why did you do that? Because nobody knows what it means. But it's like it's a personal thing, right? It's
Yeah.
special to me, and that's why I used it.
Yeah.
But people do understand it once I tell them what it is about. Then
Yeah.
they understand that. Yeah.
I fully understood it as soon as you told me, because Desi is that for me too. Like,
Hmm.
she's more emotional support for me, but for you, like, is Piper that? Is she emotional support, or is she more like your training partner, or all of the above?
She's all of that and more.
Yeah.
I'm a nurse, so I come home some days, and I think I wrote about it actually recently,
Yeah.
on my Substack. And some days I come home and she's at the gate waiting for me, and she
Yeah.
knows
She's at the
that she
door
needs to
waiting
be
for you
my
now.
my emotional support for the day. But on other days,
Yeah.
she's my training partner. Like yesterday, we went for a run. We had a blast. She's swimming in the North Saskatchewan River, and just so she's and
She's
now
right
she's at the
there.
at the at the door. Come on in, Piper. Yeah.
She, like, that was almost on cue. She appeared. She's always at my side, and there she was.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So you
Oh,
want
that's
to come and say
amazing. Hi,
hi,
Piper.
Piper? Up, come on, up. There you go. Now you can see her
Oh,
face. That's
she's so
Piper.
awesome.
Yeah.
Desi would never ever do that. She would never jump
Okay.
up.
Enough. Now down.
That's so cool. So is she a rescue?
She is a dog that was rehomed.
Okay.
So when she was about 1 year old, um, we were looking for probably like a border collie or something like that, an Aussie.
Hmm.
Um, but I saw her on Kijiji, which would be like
Mm.
the Canadian version of Craigslist,
Craigslist.
right?
Yeah.
And we went to take a look, and I fell in love with her right away. My wife was
Yeah.
skeptical,
Yeah.
um, but so she's rehomed. The person who had her first, he wanted to have her as a service dog, and as it turns out, actually, I'm wearing my regimental shirt here
I
from
was looking at that.
yeah, from the PPCLI, the regiment I was in. He was in the same regiment as me. He was in training
Oh,
at the same time as me, but we never crossed paths.
huh.
So he realized at about a year old that it wasn't going to work out for him and his family, so he moved her on.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we picked her up. So she's not technically, I wouldn't say she's a rescue, but she was rehomed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you kind of rescued her from somewhere else, I guess.
I suppose so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why do you say that she's challenge? Is she the challenge, or do you just train challenging dogs? Is she challenging?
Both, both.
Okay.
So she was an absolute menace when we first got her.
Okay.
Yeah, she was crazy. We couldn't walk on the sidewalks. We had to take her to the alleys and walk
Yeah.
with her. I couldn't bring her close to any intersections that were busy because she would just go off. Yeah, she was crazy.
Oh, like cars
So
and stuff too?
cars, bikes, scooters, rabbits, squirrels,
Everything.
anything that moved. Yeah,
Life.
it was crazy. And early on, she ended up getting in a couple fights as well.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
she was a very sort of fear aggressive dog.
Yeah.
What I eventually learned, right? I figured that out. So we had to be very careful in terms of how we had her out in the neighborhood, who she was
Yeah.
around. when people came to our house, we were very careful, very regimented in what we were doing.
Yeah.
Um, but the one thing that was wonderful that came out of Piper coming into my life is that it unleashed a passion that that I didn't know I had from about
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
So that's what got me into dog training. That's sort of, if you're going to ask me about
Okay.
that in a little bit, that's
I
the reason
was,
why.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you became a trainer because of her. You weren't a trainer first and then got her.
yeah. So
That's
I
amazing.
I've been in the coaching industry for over 20 years. So coaching
Yeah.
athletes and coaching people
Okay.
as a health and wellness coach. So I took that and sort of applied it into the dog training, and that's what I do now. I coach my humans to help
Yeah.
them with their dogs.
Yeah.
But I got into search and rescue with Piper because I knew
Oh,
she was going to
amazing.
need an outlet.
Yep.
So that's where I really got into doing a lot of training with dogs, because
Mhm.
in search and rescue, you actually don't train your own dog. As a helper, you train the other dogs. So I had my
Oh,
hands on a lot of different dogs.
yeah.
Um, but when you're not at training, then you're training your dog for training, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so we did search and rescue for about a year and a half, and
That's
we
really
stopped
cool.
that. We did agility. We did all kinds of stuff, but
Yeah.
ultimately, she's ended up becoming my demo dog, and
That's
so
perfect. So
yeah,
perfect.
so she's good because I have that reactive dog group that she helps me out in. So.
Yeah. So now you can take her out for walks and stuff and you don't have to be so stressed out about it
Yeah,
or is
now
she still?
I don't really worry about her.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, uh, out in public, she doesn't bother with any of the things that she used to
Wow.
fly off the handle about. But it's just a matter of figuring out
That's
how to
kind of
train her.
a
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a 180, hey? Like Desi has been a challenge the whole time. And like, when you adopt them as a puppy, she came from Cochrane Humane Society.
Mm-hmm.
When you adopt them as a puppy, you don't really know. Like you think that they're going to just grow up the way you raise them. And we had her in puppy classes right away. We've had her, she was
Yeah.
well socialized at the dog parks, but she was a COVID puppy. She actually was born the day that Canada shut down for
Oh,
COVID.
really? Yeah.
Yeah. So I got her in May 2020. And we just did dog parks because you couldn't go anywhere else during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But then I shared with you earlier kind of what I went through with her when she was really,
Yeah.
really young. And I think that was kind of traumatizing for her too, because in order for us to fly to Vancouver to look after my son's affairs and everything like that, we had to put her in a kennel
Mm-hmm.
and we just ditched her for like 5 days. And so I don't know if she was going to be an anxious dog anyways, or if that caused it, or we don't know. But she's always just been kind of she's been a challenge for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
those challenging dogs, they're, if you can figure them out, like somebody just came in the house, if you can figure them out, um,
yeah,
then it's great because you figure out what it is. And that, we talked about that the other day. I think
hmm
if you can figure out what it is that the dog needs,
yeah,
then you
yeah.
can do what they need, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of her issues are fear-based as well, because like, we'll be walking along and if there's a plastic shopping bag blowing in the wind, she freaks out.
Yeah.
But thunder, she's totally fine. So I think she's just kind of weird about strange looking things, not nature
Yeah.
stuff, but strange things.
Yeah.
But we hired a really good trainer in the beginning too, and spent a lot of money, and she recommended a lot of great things for us. Like there's coffee shops that allow dogs, and so we have to be really, really careful when we go in because she's doesn't like confined spaces.
Yeah. So does
But
Piper.
when she's in there and relaxes and lays down, like she's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all just a kind of exposure therapy, I guess.
Yeah, we did a lot of that too. Is there's a just down the street from us, there's a major intersection, and we couldn't take her there for a long time, but now I
Hmm.
can sit right at the intersection, sit with her, and she just watches the traffic go by. Right,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's not
good.
something that happens overnight, right? It happens with
Yeah.
gradual exposure to those spaces in a manner
Yeah.
that you do it so that the dog is successful,
Hmm.
and that's one example of of many. that
Hmm.
we've worked with Piper. And the other thing, the dog group that I have, I created it. There was this like a selfish reason for it. I created the dog group because I needed to help Piper become neutral around other dogs.
Yeah.
So
I
it,
mean, there's no better way to do that, right? Like you
yeah,
just create the situation that you need her to be able to get through.
hmm
Our trainer has a thing too, a pack walk once a month for any past clients.
hmm
And we meet and all she works with all challenging dogs too. And so
hmm
we all have to keep our distance and stuff, but it's pack walking, little exercises in the pack walk, and it's
yeah,
really great to just keep them on their toes.
yeah.
Um, so I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the search and rescue thing. Have you ever done like the scent training stuff? Because
Scent detection,
I
yeah,
want to do that with Desi. I want to do that with Desi. There's like a recreational group here in Calgary. It's not for a
perfect.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So,
it's amazing. I don't do it with like any specific group or anything, but I do it with her. You may find
okay.
this funny, but I went to my so when I was doing search and rescue. So search and rescue. The way we did it was air scenting. Eventually, the idea is like someone's in the woods, and then you let the dog go, and the dog will follow the scent right in a
Right.
triangle to eventually find the
Oh,
person. And we do that all by play, right? So,
okay.
oh, thank you, Brandon. So you coming in again, Piper? So come on in. She wants to put her down. So yeah, so we use scent in a way where we use people, right? But we
Yeah.
also did cadaver training. So we would
Oh.
have cadaver samples from like
Oh.
various tissues, anything
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
teeth to placenta and so on, and we would have them
Wow.
hidden, and then our dogs would go find them. So one of the things I did is I went to my dentist and I said, "Hey, I'm on a search and rescue team. I'd like to have some teeth, so some cleaned teeth and some teeth that aren't cleaned." And I put
Yeah.
them in a little jar, and I have like there's little holes in the top of the jar. And anytime Piper and I would go out to like a park or the woods or whatever, I would hide them and tell her to go find them, and she finds them all the time. I went to the
Wow.
hairdresser. Yeah, I went to the hairdresser and I said, "Hey, I want some hair." And same thing. So I have them all
Really?
set up so that we go and do that stuff. The other way you can do it is with various scents. You can have little, just little capsules with cotton swab that's scented. You can use those things. There's many different ways you can do it, but it's such a fun thing to do with your dog to see them learn and grow how to do that stuff. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's an outlet for your dog. Um,
That's what I've heard. It's real
yeah,
brain work for them.
exactly. But the other thing is, I always tell people it's if you can fulfill your dog's breed characteristics,
Hmm.
then a lot of the challenges that you have with your dog will go away, right?
Well, and I have like heard that. So Desi, I don't know what breed she is. She's a, Alberta special, they call them. Um, but she's always got her nose to the ground, and she really is like I think she would thrive with scent training. She's
Yeah,
kind of too bulky for agility. She's like a slow dog, you know,
yeah,
like um, but she really I think she would thrive with the scent training. So I want to try that. Um,
absolutely. And there's lots of groups around for it. And like you said, there's a group that you
mhm,
can join, and you can do scent work for a variety of reasons. The other thing a
mhm.
lot of dogs do well with is barn hunt, which is
What
fun.
is that? Bar Barn
Barn
hunt?
hunt. So there's a couple different versions of it. There's barn hunt, and I can't remember what the other one is, but they take a whole bunch of hay bales and they have
Mhm.
rats inside a little
Okay.
plastic thing, and the dogs go and find them.
Oh.
And it's a bit of a competition to see which dog can get the most
Oh,
done
yeah.
fastest. Yeah, so it's another scent game, but at the same time, it's a prey game, that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
again, another outlet for dogs that would otherwise have challenges. Instead of taking a dog that's bred for things like that and just having them go for a 20-minute walk twice a day,
Yeah.
now they're actually fulfilling what they've been bred for, and they
Yeah.
become a much happier dog,
I can totally see that, because like you look at the border collies at the dog park, they don't want to play with anything or anyone except their ball. And like that's all the people do is throw the ball. Like that's what they were bred for.
right?
So it's interesting to watch a dog fulfill its kind of purpose.
Yeah.
Um, So with scent training, like, do you have to give them the scent first and then go hide it, or do you just hide something and like, I don't even understand how that works.
There is a process, and
Yeah.
it I mean, it can be a linear process, but there's some up and down in learning. But
Hmm.
basically, what you do is you have the scent and you provide the dog that scent, and then you put it in a spot that it's a really easy find for them,
Yeah.
and you tell them to go find it, and they're going to find it because it's just like around the corner,
Right
right?
over there. Yeah.
And as soon as they get it, you reward them. Good job. Okay, so now we're working with play and praise. The dog is being rewarded for doing the thing you want them to do. They didn't
Yeah.
realize that they were going to find the thing, but it's a scent and they're going to find it. What happens is they learn that if I go find that thing and bark or sit down or do whatever, then I'm going to get a ball or I'm going to get some treats. I'm going to get to play with my handler.
Right.
And then you just build on that and then you make those finds more and more difficult.
Yeah.
So, as an example, like I started with those little tubes with the cotton swabs. Uh, it's often birch is what's used with dog training to start with, and then I started with those scents, um, and then I worked up to the cadaver stuff. But I used the scents in the house. Like I would have it, I would put it in the other room, and I would use the word seek. Right, I would tell her to go find it. She goes and finds it, and then I give her a reward. Right. So that's
Okay.
typically how it starts. You have to teach the dog the concept of finding something.
Yeah. So you start in the house is always way easier, right? No distractions or anything.
Yeah, same as you teach any other skill, right? A
Yeah.
low
Yeah.
distraction environment. Yeah.
So like you shouldn't do like a search scent thing with beef treats. You should do it with something other than like a food or
You can if you just want to do it for fun with your dog, right?
yeah.
I tell all my clients to play hide and seek with their dog, right? So
Yeah.
one person will be in the house holding the dog, the other person will get the dog excited for the toy or the thing or
Yeah.
whatever, and then they run around the corner.
Yeah.
And then the person holding the dog will say, "Okay, go find it," or go get them, or seek, or whatever. And
Hmm.
then they run around the corner, and it's a big game. Yay, you found us,
Yeah.
right? And so then what we do is we build on that. We go around the corner, but a little further, and then we go into the next room, and
Okay.
sometimes it's a toy, sometimes it's food. If you want to get your dog into competitions for scenting, then it's better to not use food.
Food.
It's
Yeah.
actually better to actually use the scents that they'll use in the competitions, right?
That makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Huh. That's so interesting. I mean, there's so many things that we can do with dogs that, like I was telling you earlier today, all the dogs I've had in my life were kind of like leisure dogs. They were
Mm-hmm.
just part of the family, like everybody has. But it wasn't until Desi that I really got interested in and it's probably because she's difficult or challenging that I really got interested in like how a dog learns and how to keep her life
Mm.
happy because she's scared and anxious of a lot of things. So
Yeah,
just how to keep her happy. And she's not bulletproof yet. I don't think she ever will be, but we know what her things are. So you
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's
Um,
fair too. And one of the things that um, people often don't understand is if we have an anxious dog, if we have a fearful dog, if we create routines and structures for those dogs, then a lot of those fears and a lot of that anxiety will go away because they know what to expect every day. And
yeah.
I posted, I don't think I posted, I'm going to have a series about coming up eventually here about
Yeah.
rituals um,
Okay.
and developing rituals and routines with your dog and the little rituals that we do that help and support a dog. So one of the
Yeah.
rituals that I recommend the most for people is before you go out for your walk, you like if you don't want a dog pulling on the leash, you need
Yeah.
to create a calm energy, right?
Yeah.
So we would do an exercise at the door to make sure the dog is calm. Then we go
Yeah.
outside, and then we just do a little what I call loose leash walking drill. Is we walk in circles and we walk in figure eights and do a couple of drills there. We get some engagement on us, and then we go for a walk. But it only takes
Yeah.
about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that would be a ritual, right? Another ritual or routine would be one of the things I do with Piper is I'll be upstairs at the end of the night and it's time to go to bed. She'll be laying down and I'll just say crate, and she gets up and she runs down the stairs to go into her crate
Yeah.
because she knows that she's going to get a treat when she goes
Okay.
in the crate, right?
Yeah.
And she actually likes the crate. Another
Yeah,
example
Desi
would be
did
like
too.
the dog gets excited when you come to the house and they're jumping all over you, and then so I trained her to go to place, right, to go on her bed, and so she knows that when I come home, if she's calm, she sits there. I take my shoes off. I put my keys away. So these are all routines and rituals. They're pictures for dogs, right? Because dogs learn
Yeah.
or understand the world in pictures. And then she goes and jumps on her bed and waits for me, and then I get a
Like when you walk through the door.
yeah, yeah,
That's amazing because Desi is so weird. She doesn't, she's not like a weirdo, like jumpy and barky and stuff, but she has done this from day one. She'll pick up the nearest shoe and like just hold it. She's not like going wild or
mm-hmm.
anything. She'll pick up the nearest shoe or slipper and like present it to me almost. And she's
Yeah,
growling like a low, like it's a love growl. I know she's not mad.
yeah.
It's the cutest thing, but yeah, I never,
It's trained, right? It's operant conditioning. It's this leads to that, leads to this, leads to right, and so
yeah,
dogs learn by doing it, and they train us very well.
they
Um,
do.
my
Oh, they
in-laws dog,
do.
like my in-laws dog knows where the treats are, and he sits at the door and barks, barks, barks until they give him a treat. So
Oh, wow.
the dog has they have trained that, right? So every time the dog
Yep,
barks, they give him a treat to shut him up, right? So he's like,
yep,
oh, okay, all I have to do is stand there and bark, right? So
yep.
dogs learn that
They're
way,
so
right?
smart. They pick
Yeah,
up on things like things that work in their favor. They pick it up like in one or two tries.
yeah,
It's kind of unreal, and we realized that early too, how smart Desi is.
yeah.
She, haha, Robin.
Robin Robin says I bark for cookies too. Yeah, me too.
Robin, I don't know if you know her from Substack. She writes comedy humor, but
Yeah.
she's very into her doggies too, and she just lost one of her puppies.
Oh, sorry to hear
Yeah,
that, Robin.
he
I
was
know
a
what that.
Mexico rescue, and
Yeah,
so
I know
yeah.
what that
Hi,
feels like.
Robin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a whippet that was 15, and
Oh
you know
wow.
what? Interesting story if I can share that, which is
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm not just a dog trainer, right? I actually think
Yeah, you're a guy too.
are spiritual animals here. Like they certainly teach us stuff. 18. Wow, Robin.
Wow,
That's
I
that's
know.
a long time. So when Caper, we called him Caper because I'm from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia,
Okay.
and we're called Capers.
Okay.
Um, so when he died, I became very indifferent and said I'll never have another dog because it was grief, right? Like I was not actually properly grieving the fact that this dog that I had for 15 years was now gone.
Yeah.
And it took 3 years before I started talking about, you know, getting another dog, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I didn't, when my last dog, Mojo, died, her senior years, she was kind of a crutch for me too, because I became an empty nester. My son left home and all that. So all I
Mm-hmm.
had was Mojo, and she was old. So we had a
Yeah.
nice little retirement years for her. But when she died, like I didn't vacuum for 2 months because I was like, how do I get rid of all the dog hair? Because, little things
Yeah.
like when you open a chip bag and nobody comes running and it's like, oh my God, like this is real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's
It
tough.
is. Yeah. You lost something, especially like an animal like a dog or even cats that have been in your life for 15
So
plus
long.
years, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robin
Mojo
said
was
she
a
didn't.
big dog and she
Yeah.
lived for 14 years. So,
And Robin, you didn't
oh,
vacuum for a while either. So I'm gonna that that's a problem because
love it.
we vacuum here every day. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, we Swift every day. But you
What are
know
we
what I
gonna do?
did with Mojo? I had like a little tuft of her hair because she shed quite a bit, and I put it in
Hmm.
one of those clear Christmas balls where you can put things in. So we
Yeah.
hang it on the tree every year, just like a tuft of Mojo's hair. And I'm sure we'll do that
Oh,
with Desi one day.
that's
I'm
so
kind of
cool.
neurotic about that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know some
yeah,
people will do the urn, right, where they'll get their dog cremated and have the urn with different shapes and that type of stuff, which is
yeah.
pretty
I
cool.
have a box of ashes over there of Mojo.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
that's drastically different from what I grew up in, right? I grew up around dogs,
yeah,
but I grew up in the country, and
yeah.
dogs,
They
we didn't
shoot the
train them,
dog
we
in the
didn't
field,
walk them
right?
on a leash. There was like none of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I actually just I have a series coming up eventually about recall, and
I
the
want that
first
series.
the first the first post, like the first newsletter post about that, is a story about my dog Blackie. It was a German Shepherd mix. Um, got off out of the out of the gate and took off and got hit by a car. And anyway, long story short, we didn't handle that the way we do that nowadays. It was a rifle and
Yep.
backwoods and buried in the backwoods, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I know about that too because when I was a teenager, I had a horse and
oh yeah,
I kept her at we had friends with a dairy farm in Didsbury. I'm sure you know Didsbury.
yeah,
And that's what they did when their dogs got old or injured or whatever. You just take them to the field and you shoot
yeah,
them. That's
yeah,
country life, right? It sounds inhumane to us, but it is what it is.
yeah, exactly. But but you learn and grow from those experiences nonetheless, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny too. I feel like you change dog by dog because my first dog, obviously, I was a child when we got her,
Hmm.
and then she died when my son was like 6 months old. So it's the different stages. So she was kind of like just a side piece in the family because everyone had a life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then Mojo came and she was a little bit more important, but still not like I'm an empty nester now and I have nothing to do in my life besides work and a dog. So like Desi gets all the attention.
Yeah.
And it's different stages of life, depend like if that's how you treat your dogs, I guess.
Hmm.
Like I'm
Hmm.
not busy anymore.
Yeah. And for me, same thing. Growing up with dogs as a kid, dogs. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they were fun, right? Then my next dog as an adult, we took him for walks. We threw the ball with him, but I never did any training. And it was a whippet. I should have had him in lure coursing or something like that, or
Yeah, yeah,
agility or fly ball. But
for
it was just a
sure.
dog, right?
Whippets. Yeah.
Yeah. And now with Piper, I'm constantly scouring ideas and looking on the internet and reading books and finding things that I can do with her, right? So whether
Yeah.
it's scent
Yeah.
training or whether it's agility or learning new skills and tricks and that type of stuff,
Yeah.
I love it, right? So
Yeah, she's beautiful too. Is she purebred German Shepherd?
she's actually Sable German Shepherd and Dutch Shepherd. So the mom was
Interesting.
a Dutch Shepherd and the dad was a Sable German Shepherd.
I've seen other shepherds like her at our dog park. Desi has a really good friend dog that looks like her. But like when she barks, she sounds like a police dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And she can bark on command, which is really fun.
yeah,
So if somebody's in the alley at night, and I can say one
yeah.
word, and she barks. And
Desi
actually,
will too. Yeah.
we had somebody in our yard a year and a half ago or so,
Oh,
11:30 at night. Piper went crazy. So
that guy ran. I
so we
bet.
went after the guy, yeah. And then we were following down the alleys and stuff, and I was on the phone with the
Yeah,
police and. I said, "Yeah, I've got my German Shepherd out here," and they said, "Don't approach the man." But I said, "Don't
yeah.
worry, but we're actually like scenting this person so that we can find them, right?" So anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So lots of
Yeah,
skills,
Desi
but
will bark at anybody, but yeah, I love teaching her new stuff. We're teaching her how to whisper now. Like she'll bark, she'll say
yeah,
please and speak on command. She knows lots of tricks, but now I saw this stupid video of people trying to make their dogs whisper, and it's really funny. So I'm trying it with Desi now, and she's learned it. Like you just
yeah,
have to. It's so funny. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll try and video it sometime and post it.
It's a lot of fun
It
showing
is.
them new things, and
Yeah.
a lot of people hire me because they want their dog to stop doing things, right? Stop
Yeah.
barking when people come over, stop jumping on people, and stop pulling on the leash, and stop
Mm-hmm.
reacting to other dogs, and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
um, there's other people that want me to teach their dog how to play tug, right, and how to play properly, how to build engagement and stuff. So that's a lot
Yeah.
of fun. And I have some clients wanting to do scent work. I have one client that they want their dog to learn how to use the herding ball because they have a herding dog. So
Mm-hmm.
we got the herding ball and we're teaching it how to do all of that stuff. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christiana said something. She said we are here to learn let us engage and get to know each other. I'm
Okay.
very glad to meet amazing friends. What is okay? So let us know what that means, Christiana.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Terry. I'm glad you jumped on.
Hi,
Terry
Terry.
Lee is Terry's pretty awesome too. She's got lots going on Substack. So,
Nice.
um,
We didn't say hi
so
to everybody else, but
I know it's just when names cut. Like I didn't actually recognize a lot of the names, so I
yeah,
wonder if they know you or if I don't know. But it's
yeah.
great. I put
I'm
a
I'm
note out
new
before
to
we
I'm
came.
new to Substack, so not many
It's
people
not
know who
you.
I
It's
am.
not you. It's me.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So training wise, I want to like kind of take advantage of having you here as a trainer. Um, do you find more dogs are like treat motivated or like you were talking about tugs and stuff like that?
Yeah, all dogs are food motivated. The problem with the problem with a lot of dogs is their routine, right? So a lot of dogs will have food available for them all the time.
Yeah,
So then when people are trying to do something and teach the dog something new, they'll say, my dog's
it's
just
not.
really not motivated to take the food. It's often
Yeah,
because the dog is free feeding or is getting too much food, or people are using really high value treats in a low value situation,
like just
right?
handing them out for nothing.
And yeah, so they're getting like a sardine for doing sit in the kitchen, right?
Yeah,
Where they
yeah,
should just be getting kibble, right? As an example.
yeah.
So it all depends on how we're doing that. So we can build food drive in dogs quite easily. It only takes about a week or so. Um,
Hmm.
some dogs are really motivated for play, right? So for toys, for playing tug. Some dogs thrive on praise.
Yeah,
So when with the search and rescue team, every dog had their way of doing things. So Piper would work with a tug. We had other dogs that would work with cheese. We had other dogs that would work with cooked meat. Some dogs liked us to run away and then play with them. So finding out what the dog enjoys the most or what makes them come alive is the
yeah,
big thing. So
yeah,
for people who aren't very skilled in sort of working with dogs, it's sometimes a challenge, right? But you
yeah,
just have to work with what
yeah,
you've got and try different
yeah.
things. It's little experiments.
Yeah, you do definitely have to figure it out because I carry kibble in my dog walking bag, but I don't like hand them out for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for Desi, it's cheese for sure. She knows the sound of a cheese package from like 8 blocks away. But
yeah.
like I could open a bread package and she knows the difference. So cheese would
Mm-hmm.
be it.
Yeah. For Piper, I would say um, chasing a stick into the water is her highest value reward. And
Really?
coming back to me, playing tug, and then releasing it and then going to get it. She goes absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
Um,
Desi
I,
is not a toy motivated at all.
yeah. So I've had lots of clients say that to me, and then
Hmm.
we find ways to actually get them motivated to play with toys. And one of the best ways is to uh, mimic an animal moving. So a flirt pole would be an example. So it's a
Yeah,
pole with a string with the toy on the end, and you move it around on the ground, and the
yeah,
dog would chase it. Again, same thing with food. With food, like if a dog isn't motivated to get food, we teach them how to be motivated for food, and there's a number of different
hmm,
ways we can do that. Same as for toy, right?
hmm,
So we have to find the right toy, a novel toy. I recently had a client. She had toys all over the house. I said, "My dog
yeah.
won't play." I said, "Because you have toys everywhere."
Guilty.
Yeah. So if we find that one thing, right? So we take all the toys away and we have one toy that's available for the dog. We play with it for a few days. Okay, not very motivated, but we take another toy out and they go crazy for it. We know that's the thing. And we just use
Yeah.
that one toy for doing our training, right?
So that's why Desi doesn't play with her toys because she's got two complete toy boxes on each floor of the house.
Yeah, yeah. So guilty. Ha, ha,
Yeah, see?
yeah. So that's what I would say. Like I would recommend that. Just remove the toys and only have one toy available. But that toy
Yeah.
becomes available. You are the resource for the dog, right? So if the dog wants to play, right? That's a resource for the dog. You provide the resource,
Hmm.
and then the dog will likely be more motivated. So what I would do is take away the toys, buy a new one that's novel, and see how it goes.
Okay, that's worth trying, I think.
Yeah.
Let me ask you one specific to me question.
Yeah.
Desi is like when we go for walks, leash walks, she plods along and stops and sniffs. It's not even fun anymore. Like I can't get any exercise unless we're at an off-leash park.
Yeah.
So like, but if there's like a dog way in the distance, she'll pick up the pace and start walking at a pace I can walk, or if there's a bunny,
Mhm.
or like I feel like if she had a pace dog, I
Yeah.
would do really great if I had a friend with a dog in front of us kind of thing. But it's horrible. Is there a way to make a dog go for a
Yeah.
good leash walk?
Absolutely. So I'll explain it with some context first, though. Okay.
Yeah,
Imagine your environment. So let's just say this is your environment, right?
yeah.
And you and your dog are in the middle of the environment. So there's the dog and there's you. You have a certain amount of value for the dog, right?
I have zero value on a walk.
Okay. So there's a rabbit, there's another dog, there's a tree, there's a fire hydrant. Like all of these things will have their own inherent value, right? One
Yeah,
might be like a 10 coin value, one might be 25. The rabbit that's running might be a 50, but you just
yeah,
standing there, you might be 5, right? So we have to figure out, one, like what's the value of all these things and how to change it and how to work with it. The other thing is, so the dog sniffing is finding value of coming off the trail and sniffing, right?
hmm,
Sniff, sniff, sniff. That's valuable for the dog. It's
yeah,
more valuable than walking with you, right? But once it
yeah.
sees the dog ahead, that the value of the dog ahead has just changed from, like, maybe the sniffing the tree is a 10, but now the dog ahead of them is a 15.
Okay.
So they
And I'm
switch
still a
to,
5.
and you're still a 5. So we have to find a way to make you more valuable. And in some
Yeah,
ways it's having a higher value food or whatever, but most often it's in the relationship and engagement that you create with your dog through training and play and all of that stuff, right?
hmm,
The other
yeah,
thing is establishing rituals and routines and boundaries. So when you're walking with your dog, if the dog is always going like this without you saying, yeah, it's okay for you to do that,
yeah.
then they're in charge of the walk, right?
Yeah, guilty
Yeah.
again. That is how it is. And like
Yeah.
I don't mind admitting it because I
Mm-hmm.
always want to do better.
Yeah.
But
So what I always recommend for people is, so we have a word that's like a release word, right? I say free. Some people will say break. Some people say
I say
okay,
break. Yeah.
right? So you say break, right? So when you're walking with your dog down the street, if you know that the dog is going to sniff that specific tree, you stop, make the dog sit, and then say break, and then the dog goes and breaks, sniffs, and then you say okay, let's go, right? So
Hmm.
you're still giving them the opportunity to go sniff the tree,
But on
but
my
it's
terms.
it's on your terms, it's under control, right? So the dog will eventually learn that they can't be pulling all the time. Like they will get released to go do that, but they also have to follow through, or they there is follow through with let's go, let's keep going, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of it. There's more pieces to it, but those are
Yeah.
the two main pieces. Like there has to be follow through with when I say it's time to come, we're moving, and there has
Yeah.
to be the release the dog to go get the thing, and you release them
Yeah.
for it.
Is there ever a situation where the dog has been allowed to do something for so long that they can't change, or can they always change?
No, you can always teach a dog new tricks.
Like Desi won't always be a lazy plotter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like he might be a lazy plotter, um, but you can always teach him how to do that a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
about teaching rules for the game, right? So imagine basketball. Okay, well, we're Canadians. Imagine hockey with no rules,
Hockey. Yeah.
right? So imagine
Yeah.
hockey with no rules. Nobody would enjoy the game if there's no
True.
rules.
True.
So same as play, same as loose leash walking, all of that, right? There has to be rules that the dog can
Hmm.
understand, and that's going back to the routines and rituals that we establish with our dog to develop
Yeah.
that trust and relationship, so that they're not going to be anxious or reactive, or doing things that sort of fulfill
Hmm.
their need to move, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like at the dog park, she's a complete 180. She's a socialite with
Okay.
dogs, but on a walk, it's just like it's not fun. So I
Yeah,
need to
it's
make it
not
more
fun.
fun. And I did watch those videos that you sent me about the like treat throwing and like just keeping her
Yeah.
engaged. And
Hmm.
so I've been trying some of those in the big field across from the house and stuff. So
Yeah.
we're working on it, but now she's really slow now too because it's summertime and she's a -30 dog for sure.
Yeah.
She's a winter dog.
Yeah.
So
Or a
she's
6 in the morning
yeah.
dog. Yeah, because of the heat, right?
Yeah, like she would do well as a sled dog in like
Hmm.
Alaska probably.
Yeah,
She's one of
that's cool.
those.
Yeah, yeah. Have to adjust what I do with Piper too because of the heat. So I get up
Hmm.
early in the morning or wait till the
Hmm.
evening or um,
Go to the
make sure I
river
do
or
whatever I'm doing. I'm at the river, so she gets a break.
yeah,
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 yeah.
same. No, we definitely get way more exercise in the winter time. In the summer, she kind of gets
Hmm.
fat, I kind of get fat. Because like we hike a lot in the winter.
Hmm.
So, um, well, I think this has been really, really good and enlightening, and I've been really waiting for this. Like I've been excited for this. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that you were willing to come on, being so new on Substack too.
yeah. Of course, anytime. I'm
Yeah,
happy to do
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Perfect. And for anyone who doesn't know you, who just kind of logged on to a live, you can subscribe to Carl's Substack. It's 100% dog training, and he's got like he'll give you videos and chats and like very specific um, information to what you want to do with your dog. So I think that you over deliver, honestly. That's why I was a paid subscriber right away because I know what dog training costs, and
Hmm.
like to have you on the other end of the phone kind of thing, it's just really, it's like having a dog trainer in your back pocket.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
I'm happy to do this again. If there's if there's people that want to do it again and have questions sent
yeah,
in ahead of time and we can answer those questions, I'd love to. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I
I
really
think
enjoy doing this stuff. So.
that's good, and I can tell that you do because, like I said, you over deliver, I feel like, and that's pretty awesome. So, and I love your videos because, like Piper, she's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
She's a dog.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time to invite me on, and I had
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
chatting with you for sure. And um,
excellent.
hopefully I provided something of value for the folks who joined.
I think that you did. And yeah, so I guess I'll see you on Substack. And this, like I said, this will pop up in your draft, so you can
Hmm.
post it anytime you want
Yeah.
to as a post. So yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks for all the 55 people who are watching now for joining us. That's a lot more than I thought we'd get on a Friday evening
Yeah, me too.
in summer. So,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Well, thank you again, Carl, and I guess I'll see you on Substack.
All right. Bye for
All
now.
right.
Go
Have a good
Oilers.
weekend. Oh, hey, hey, hey. See you later.
Bye. I don't know how to get out of
Bye.
this. I hit the X, I
I don't
guess.
know either. Just X out.